Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity, and Love. I'm your host, Michael Andre Ford in Texas, with an incredible guest from Missouri. But first, I need to remind everybody this is a show all about angels, positivity, love, consciousness, letting go, the universe, walking a smoother path in life. We've got incredible guests from all over the globe with incredible talents. They've also had sometimes bumpy life journeys, but it's those hardships that have built foundations which have allowed them to go on to become healers. Delta Force operator, professors, authors, New York Times bestselling authors, and so on. So they're here to impart a little bit of their learned wisdom from experience. They also sometimes take steps on air. Today we have Lily Nova, Starseed, show host, author, a lot of speaking engagements. Also, she's a space photographer, a contactee. She's had a very unique path in the last, I'll say, 3 to 5 years, but I have a feeling it's earlier than that. She's super open and super brave. And I'll just add, she's got a connection to the stars and also the love and consciousness that's already within. So her walking her path is kind of like a light for everyone else. So she's leading by example. Lily, thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on. It's great to be here.
Well, it was wonderful meeting you just before the show, and thank you very much for everything. And thank you for being here today. Can you talk to us about, whichever way you want to, for how did you start to get exposed more to the universe, cosmos, if you want to call it more consciousness? Where did it start?
Yeah, so it started during COVID is when the kind of the big shift happened. I had some experiences prior to that. After my dad had passed, I had a couple spiritual experiences. But whenever COVID hit, Um, I I was a nutritionist at the time, and I had a job that I loved, but some unfortunate things happened at that job with my boss. So I left, and I was kind of going through a dark night of the soul. Like my whole life, was kind of uprooted. A bunch of things happened at once. And we're in the middle of lockdowns. So with nowhere to go. I didn't know what I was doing. I turned myself over to the stars. I discovered space photography. And so I started doing that every night. I fell in love with being able to photograph the Milky Way and all of these amazing, beautiful things. I was so passionate about it. And a couple months in of doing that, I was literally outside every night. I had my first UFO encounters, and these UFOs started showing up, literally like bombarding me, showing up left and right. And that totally shifted my paradigm. I didn't have an experience before that. I didn't know if they existed for sure. Um, and I started documenting them with my camera. So I was taking pictures and videos to capture evidence. And this is before like UFOs were really in the news. Now it's gone more mainstream. So I was at kind of like the forefront of that, the beginning of that. Um, and as I documented proof and evidence of these otherworldly visitors, a communication began to develop in a relationship. And these beings uh, taught me a lot of different things about the universe. They began teaching me that they took me on a spiritual journey, which I didn't expect. So they really helped fuel my spiritual awakening. And then that they helped me develop my psychic abilities, and they taught me so many things. And then I also began having experiences with other types of spiritual beings like angels and archangels and Jesus, and this whole world opened up. So it's been incredible. It happened very quickly and intensely. Um, and here I am today. I love it.
Oh, would you say love is truly the fabric of the universe?
Yeah, yeah. And that's what my star family. So I found out that they were my star family. I'm connected with them. What's known as a star seed. Um, and Yeshua too, Jesus. That's one of the main things that they began teaching me is the heart is the key. We are all love. We are love. We are source light. Each one of us, we are in these human bodies, human vessels, having a human experience, but the heart is the key. Cultivating love, projecting love into the universe, definitely. Yeah.
Can you pick one of the nights that you were sitting there or standing there in the field, outstanding in your field, just to do it as a punny thing. But you're taking photos, it's nighttime, and it was a big one. It's a memory that you'll always draw on for confidence, for just feeling good in the future. What was one of those moments like? Can you take us like kind of step by step what happened?
Yeah. Well, I can take the first one that popped in my head was kind of like a shocking one. This is before I knew this was my second encounter ever. So I was alone at I had seen a UFO outside of my house for the first time, and it was a diamond shaped craft. It was a few houses down, and it went up, down, side to side really quickly, and then it started coming straight towards me. And I had never seen a UFO before. I was like, what is going on? You know, your body goes into shock. And this craft came right above my head, and then it just like disappeared. So that was my first encounter. But 2 months later, I was at an astronomy park by myself in the middle of the night. It was January 2021, and it was very cold. So I was sitting in my car, you know, just looking up at the stars out of my window, and suddenly I got a strange feeling, and I looked to my right, and there's a craft hovering on the tree line to the right, and then I look to my left, there's a craft hovering in the tree line to my left, and then I look behind me, and there's two lights behind me, and then I look in front of me, and there's lights in front of me, and I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm surrounded by UFOs. Whoa. It startled me, but I was also very curious. I didn't know if they knew that I was there at the time, so I just started recording them. I didn't want to turn my car on and draw attention to myself, so I just started recording them. I had my camera with me, and I literally spent the night surrounded by UFOs recording them. So that was my second experience. That shifted everything for me because it was very intentional. They were doing that on purpose to kind of awaken me and help bring me down this path. But that really sparked my curiosity, and I wanted to and learn more. Like, who are these beings? Why are they here? What are they doing? I wanted to learn about them. So that took me down the path. If you want, I can share also like a kind of a beautiful experience that I've had with them.
Sure,
That,
absolutely.
that happened later. Okay. Goodness, there were so many. I was out making contact every single day. I would go out with my camera, and they would show up as ships or orbs of light, different geometric shapes I've been able to capture. And by the way, you have amazing photos too. They're incredible. It's inspiring. Yeah, do you want to show a couple of
I'll
them?
put a couple up, and I don't mind sharing my 3 UFO stories, but two of them are 10 seconds each. And just to make people laugh, because you can get really nervous about it, but once you get over it, it's like driving a car. You kind of get not bored with it, but you don't have to be as nervous as you are on the front end. I'm still a little bit about that, even though I know I'm angels and other stuff.
Mhm.
So Lily, tell us, share with us one of those ones that's a little more extended as an experience, because I think that's where we were headed.
Mhm. Okay. So the first one that comes to mind, I was standing outside. I was recording the sky a lot. A storm started approaching, and this storm like came out of nowhere. It was clear, but it was a beautiful storm. It was like this most massive uh uh core of a storm, and there was lightning going in it. And as it was kind of drawing closer, um, and the clouds started coming in, suddenly I saw, with my eyes open, I saw my star family and all of these different beings, galactic beings and ships in the sky surrounding me. Um, and I had an expansion of consciousness in that moment, where my awareness expanded rapidly, and I felt connected to everything. I felt one with everything. I felt one with the storm. And Star Family was teaching me how we're all connected, how we're all one. And I even felt like the storm was drawing close, and it was a big storm, but then it stopped. In that moment, it stopped, and it just stayed perfectly where it was at a safe distance. And it was just the most amazing feeling. So I felt like I kind of like stopped the storm, like I was able to kind of control it because we were one in that moment, or it was intelligent in stopping for me to have this beautiful experience. And yeah, so that was just a really beautiful experience. And of course, I felt the love of Star Family. yeah, that was just amazing seeing them surrounding me in the sky. And that's happened many times, but that's just the first one that comes to mind.
I love it. I'll buy you time for the next one if you want. But I'll mention when I was a little kid in the back of an old station wagon in the late 70s, headed to Pennsylvania from DC. I'm an East Coaster originally, not always Texas. I was looking out at the stars, which I did all the time, and I saw lights. One thing of lights that wasn't an airplane, but the adults driving didn't believe me at all. I was probably like 8 or 9. So that was it. That's one quick story. Then Austin, Texas had my first house I ever bought. This is probably around 2015, 2016. I'm standing with someone in the backyard. I've met angels, taken photos of angels, and there's Charlotte. She's the one that I asked about this when I saw it. The two red balls of light that were drones were not a thing back then. They were too high, too big, and too colorful as red. But I completely freaked out. Asked Charlotte, "What do I need to know?" She said, "Don't worry, you're protected." And I got over it and didn't worry about it after that. There's a third. I'll leave it for later. But for you, can you? Oh, besides seeing ships or geometric lights, kind of the full-on thing, is it mind's eye, dream time, out and about, maybe in town or something, or you just happen to be relaxed, lying on the grass, looking up or looking over at the woods? Have you gotten to see directly one way or the other, like actual figures as well?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, as I developed my third eyesight, and my star family started teaching me how to activate my psychic abilities, and activate my DNA, dormant DNA. I began to develop the ability to. It's like I'm seeing into their dimension. So they're not fully physically, manifesting, right in front of us, but I'm able to perceive them. So I've had that. Yeah, that happens a lot. I remember just one of the first times it happened very intensely. I was doing a reading, a Star Origins reading for somebody. So whenever I do those, I meditate for an hour beforehand and I make contact with their star families and go into their Akashic records and whatever I need to know. And before I hopped on Zoom, I went to use the restroom real quick, and this woman was Arcturian. And as I was sitting down on the toilet, I look at the wall in front of me, and there is an Arcturian woman like coming through the wall. This was probably the most intense kind of like manifestation of seeing them, because she came through very, very clear, and I was like, whoa. And I knew from the meditation also that particular woman, I was like, there's something special about her, and we've become great friends, and she's my travel companion, and come to find out, we're star sisters too. We've had some past lifetimes. So that was kind of one of the first times. But yes, so now I can see them, and I've even felt them touch me, even though they're not fully physically, manifested, which would probably be very difficult for them to do that. They're very high vibrational. It's a frequency thing. But I've seen them with my eyes open and felt them touch me and even like work on me at times, do energy work. So yes, I see them like that.
Can I ask, this will sound like a rookie question in some ways, but I still got to ask it. Can you describe an Arcturian versus like
Mhm.
a Syrian, Andromedan, Pleiadian, whatever is easiest though for you, for the
Mhm.
audience? How would you tackle that? It would be easier if you had the most cool artistic drawings, either AI or the most amazing patient uh, artist to draw this
Yeah.
stuff for you. But is there any way you can describe one versus the other? Is that okay?
Yeah. And I have tons of art of them. If you want,
Oh,
I could
okay. Yeah,
ping
and
you.
I'll put that in the video as well for viewers if they want.
Sure, yeah, yeah. So I'll go over the Pleiadians first. So the Pleiadians, as you probably know, they look Nordic. They look very, very human. They look very similar to us. They're usually in very good shape. And maybe a bit taller, but l long blonde hair and blue eyes, but they look very human. The Arcturians typically have kind of like a purplish skin. They don't have hair normally unless it's like a hybrid race, and they do have kind of like beautiful almond eyes. I might even have a picture
Okay.
with me. So this is an Arcturian hybrid. This isn't a pure Arcturian, but um, so different colored skin, a little bit of the bigger eyes, and typically like a bluish or purplish tint to their skin. They're very, very tall. They have 3 fingers instead of 5. And they're very elegant looking. Their energy is very, very elegant. Whenever I think of them, I kind of think like mysterious, elegant. They're very, very advanced. They're master healers as well. So that's the Arcturians. Syrians, there are many different types of Syrians. There are aquatic beings. So some of like the dolphins, whales, and mer people come from one of the Syrian planets. Some of them have elongated heads and no hair. Some of them are similar to us, but they have light blue skin and no hair. So that's kind of like a summary of that. Also, the feline beings.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the
Okay.
yeah, some of the feline beings with the feline features are from Sirius as well as Lyra. So those are kind of like the major ones. Does that answer?
Yeah, absolutely. If you could only pick like one group to hang out with on a desert island for 1 month and everything's provided, electricity, fun, they're obviously going to bring their own means of fun and for entertaining education. If you can only pick one, no one else is going to be insulted, by the way, and you get to do this again so you can grab somebody else. No feelings will be hurt. You can only pick one. Who are you picking to be on that island with you?
Man, that's tough. That's tough. I would maybe say the Pleiadians. I'm feeling a lot of their energy right now. But originally, my first star family I met, and the ones who taught me through most of my training, they were from the Andromeda constellation, Andromeda Council. Have you heard of Andromeda Council before?
I haven't, but I've heard a lot about the galactic councils. I just haven't gotten there yet. I'm still like in fourth
You're
grade
fine.
handling of everything. So,
No, yeah, you're
can
fine.
you
And I'm
describe
still,
Andromedans for us as well? We skipped that one.
yeah, yeah. So the Andromedans, I have a lot of pictures in my book.
Oh,
Generated art, yeah, to help show people.
oh,
But I'm trying to see if I can like find a fast one.
yeah, whichever ones you want to show would be great.
Um, I think I'm getting close here. There we go. Okay, so this is a depiction of my first star family I ever met. She's Andromedan Council. So she was very beautiful. She had no hair and she had light blue skin.
Wow. And that looks a lot like Luc Besson's sci-fi film. He's the one that did Fifth Element, The Professional, but he did another one that starts with a V. I'm going to make up the name. I'm not going to get it right. Valatorian or something like that, the movie, but they had beings that look like that at the start of the film.
Wow.
So
That's amazing. So I actually have ET races in my book too. So I can just, since I have these here, these are the Arcturians right there.
gotcha. Gotcha.
And then Lyran,
Yep.
Syrian. Um, yeah, so I have a section on the ET races also. Here's
And do you think how many years do you think it's going to be before most people get comfortable with what we'll call the Star Wars Cantina Cafe concept? Remember the 70s, there was that original Star Wars, the Cantina, and there's
yeah.
been that throughout all of our culture, whether it's film, books, etc., to just kind of break us in a little to the concept that we're not alone in the universe. Can you address either the big picture that we're definitely not alone, and it's much more loving than any of the scary movies point out?
Yeah, definitely. Oh my goodness. Beautiful experiences with Star Family. They are our family. Um, so I think we'll get a lot of disclosure coming in 2025, 2026. I get really good feelings about those years. Originally, my star family, the first one that I showed you, the Andromeda constellation, I asked, when will you be boots on the ground with us? Like, face to face. And her response, I asked her this a few years ago, she said in the 2030s.
Hmm.
So, and that's not that far away.
No, it's not. And I'll mention one other quick thing. Star Trek, there's been a bunch of variations, but there's the original with William Shatner, the TV series from the 60s, 70s. And that is a little ironic because in a way, the Arcturians, Andromedans, the folks from around the cosmos are in a way the bridge of the Enterprise. They don't want to interfere. Prime directive is free will is paramount. They just do unconditional love and support. And if you ask for a little bit more help, interaction, you're going to get it, like nighttime, daytime, eyes open, eyes closed. But that's where it's such a flip. Like when Spock and Captain Kirk beamed down in those episodes to whatever planet they were at, that was in a way really, it's their perspective. And I'll mention it this way. There was the animated version. and it was very, the fraps, the frames per second was a little choppy, but so it's still William Shatner, but animated, and it's Spock, but they had an alien on the bridge. And the crew was a mixed race, not just human. And I thought that was fascinating. I know the modern movies do the same thing with Chris Pine. And the way you said it, boots on the ground, was very stark. I think it's a logical conclusion that if we're not alone in the universe, the cosmos, that eventually there'll be a little more interacting beyond through like government level.
Right. Yeah. And contact is happening on a very individual and personal level right now. So, they're helping to awaken these star beings with star seeds on Earth right now. So we're kind of like the inside people. Since there's, free will and they can't interfere, um, we, star seeds, we incarnated in so that we could change and shift the consciousness from within. And then our star families are helping from the outside, doing what they can and helping to awaken us. So a lot of people are, especially since COVID happened, a lot of people are starting to have these experiences suddenly because it's time. The shift is happening right now. So it's pretty incredible. I forgot what my initial where I was going with that, but
Oh, you're good. Mankind could definitely use a little more compassion, gentleness, kindness, walking a smoother path, maybe a few less nuclear weapons, like two. We'll
right.
just take two out of the arsenal somewhere. But meanwhile, what is your favorite, like, I don't know, word? Is it gentleness, kindness, unconditional love, compassion, sparkliness? What is something that keeps you on your path and fired up no matter how rocky it gets? One audience member gave you a hard time, everybody else was supportive. How do you keep your chin up and stay focused to stay here?
Yeah, that's a good question. So just feeling the love, and I feel it right now in my heart, feeling the love from my star family and my guides and the angels, and source, God, source.
So what's it all about? The heart, Lily, you got to live there and be there. It's the only way you're really truly functioning, both to help yourself, to love yourself, but to support others on their journey, which you're doing a fantastic job of. Talk to us about what this is.
Yeah, the heart. So, man, again, my star family and source, developing a relationship with them, I felt so much the most profound love, unconditional love. They taught me unconditional love. And they taught me how to more fully love myself. So my heart just, they really helped me open my heart. Um, and it's been incredible. Uh, yeah, I absolutely, I absolutely love it. And just connecting with them, like I was saying before, it reminds me, how important the work I'm doing and how supported and loved I am. And then also sharing that with others and on my YouTube channel and the responses that I get, the comments that I get, uh, it's just so heartwarming. So I'm just so grateful. So yeah, the heart is incredibly important. They've told me it's the key to everything, and your heart is a portal. It's an interdimensional highway that helps connect you to these higher realms. So staying in your heart and opening your heart, because a lot of us, we have trauma and we kind of close our hearts off to protect ourselves. And that's one of the things my star family and source helped me to heal, to help me open up my heart so I can open to receive all of this love and all of these amazing things and know that, I am worthy and, each of us are worthy of having, amazing lives and being happy and accomplishing, our dreams. So yeah, it's just been incredible. That is the key. They always bring it back to the heart is the key.
Well, and I have to compliment your channel. It's a lot of fun, and people will be able to check it out in the details below this video. But people should subscribe, check it out. Definitely support her, like, comment, share, and so on. I'm going to mention that for my channel as well. Please, I just hit 2,000 for the first time, but help us get to 20,000, then 2 million, and so on. I want to get back to the concept of the heart. It's the gateless gate, doorless door. If we talk Zen Buddhist stuff, the Blue Cliff
Mhm.
Notes.
Mhm.
But also Seth from the 1970s, New Age. He's a light being. If Jane Roberts, if people remember that far back, he talked about it's not going to be found outside of you, but through your reality that you knew, through your heart into a broader reality. But it's also mentioned in Dan Millman's Peaceful Warrior, the gymnastics film, when Socrates, the gas station attendant, who's an angel, people can meet him and see him, says that no one wants to go here, essentially. And that's the only place you're going to find your truths. And others will remind you that it's never going to be external, all the success in the world and everything else. So with that, I'll just mention a couple quotes and see where you want to take us. If you could give us a definition of success, I'll mention positivity is abundance, back to what we said earlier, love's the fabric of the universe. And then I'll do a NASA astronaut quote that's, I got to do an exchange with him. He said, this is like 10 years ago, he said something about him having met his angels, but it's Story Musgrave, NASA astronaut, getting out of the comfortable path. That's what exploration is all about. Can you talk to us about how it's not an external thing and reinforce what you just said earlier about it's somehow here and it's big and it's already within you?
Yeah. So this, the first time that I met Jesus, Jesus came to me and I was blown away because I didn't know if he existed. I wasn't a religious person. So I was just, it was an incredible experience. And whenever I first saw Jesus, he, actually, he taught me that the return of Christ is actually the return of Christ consciousness within each and every one of us. And then he taught me, motioning towards the heart, and so that the kingdom of heaven is actually within us. Heaven isn't an external place that you have to try to get into. It's within you and through the heart. That is source. That love is source. That, like you said, it's the fabric of the universe. So by going within and cultivating that love and being more in our heart space, we actually create a heavenly reality. We can create, reality begins to change around us. You begin attracting more, positive things. You can attract abundance. It just totally, because we are creators. We are mini creator, gods, like walking around having this human experience. So I think Yeshua or Jesus taught me a really great lesson in that. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, totally. Okay, hey, I'll put well, I'll light sage first. And if you don't mind catching the scent of sage, we did this before the show. Lily is in Missouri and ready to go. But for folks at home, we do this in every show. It's on a lot of the videos on the channel. It's just allow. Get out of what you know. Most of our knowing's a little blocking possibility. We don't realize it. It's why the scientific community is in a way still playing catch up, or it's always changing. Let's be a little more equitable. It's
Yeah.
always changing. And so it's really hard to be a scientist right now. Okay, here's a little bit of sage. Catch what you can catch. But if a person's gung ho and hear even more, ask for flowers, ask for an ocean smell, or something I haven't even named. Great cooking. And Lily, what are you catching in Missouri right now?
I'm seeing just kind of like I get visions a lot. I'm seeing the grass swaying, just a beautiful kind of like naturey smell, butterflies, flowers, as well as feeling a bit of a Native American presence. I have some Native American guides. Um, yeah, so that's what I'm getting.
And I'll put up a photo of an angel named Joy. Again, before the show, we might have played around a little. Folks can do this at home. Just pause it, find a video somewhere where there's something up. Feel what you can feel. Don't judge. Listen, whatever way you consider to be listening, down here, up here. Winnie the Pooh said it best, though. If you're having any difficulty, just remove the fluff and you'll do great. I always say ask angels to jump in and help you a little. But she's got a topic for you that you're going to be like, oh, yeah, let's talk about that. And what are you hearing from an angel named Joy?
The first thing that popped up was DNA.
Okay.
So
But
DNA.
tell us something about that. I mean, we all have it. I know that much.
Yeah. So DNA, so we have a divine blueprint. Humanity has a lot of potential. And my star family, whenever they started showing up, that was one of the main things they started training me on, was that our DNA is actually incredibly powerful. We have a lot of potential with it. And our DNA, so scientists say that around 95% of our DNA is junk DNA. It doesn't appear to be doing anything. And my star family taught me that it's not junk DNA, it's just dormant. We're supposed to be turning it on. And as we cultivate, that Christ consciousness within us, as we step into our hearts, begin to remember who we truly are, and raise our frequency, we are activating our multidimensional DNA, because it's multidimensional, it's quantum. And as we do that, we begin to develop, live in compassion, have more, emotional control, living in the heart, living in compassion. And something super exciting, we begin to activate superhuman abilities, like being able to heal others, being able to self-heal, being able to develop channeling abilities, psychic abilities. The possibilities are endless, but we have all of these amazing gifts that are just dormant. So that's one of the most, I think the heart and DNA are two of the most important things at this time.
Can you share on your own path how you've been letting go and allowing, and maybe it's, we'll call it helpers, your relatives, ancestors, your star family, Starseed family. Hopefully I got it all right. How they've maybe either kicked it into gear for you with just you asking and allowing, or how you've gotten out of your own way to, again, expand on a certain front. It might have been that you were nervous about using your hands or just seeing with your eyes open, but can you share just, this is normal for all of us. If we did a sports metaphor, stepping on the field for the first time, you're shy. First few weeks of practice, you're afraid to be seen by the coach. You're still in the tryout phase. But at some point, we tend to get over this and we get going performing a little bit. Can you share with us where you shook it off and got going with owning what you got?
Yeah, well, my different star families and source, of course, uh, they took me through some very intensive training where I worked through a lot of those things. I write a lot about it in my book. I call it Starseed Boot Camp, where they helped me to eliminate all of the like limiting beliefs and limiting programming. Me getting in my own way, preventing me from experiencing these things. So they took me through a whole training with it, and they were with me the entire time, holding my hand, guiding me. Uh, they helped me do kind of like affirmations, to help kind of reprogram myself. But also they showed me there was two spontaneous past life regressions that they showed me one day. I was on a jog at night one day, and I was contacted by my Syrian star family, and they said, there's something you need to see because it's still affecting you to this day. And I closed my eyes, and suddenly I had this spontaneous past life regression of being, I saw like a uh, medieval town, and I saw me, this is kind of graphic, but saw me tied at the stake and being burned alive as a witch in the Middle Ages in a past lifetime. And they told me that I wasn't actually a witch, I was a healer, but at the time, they didn't understand. And they burned millions of people alive for that, which is pretty crazy. But it was affecting my throat chakra, and it was keeping me from being able to speak my truth. This is before I started a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so I was afraid to be myself. I was afraid to step into my power and express who I truly am, partly because of this past lifetime that was very traumatic, and it closed, I closed myself off to protect myself. So in becoming aware of that and kind of like processing and transmuting that, I was able to clear a lot of blockages in my throat chakra. And yeah, they said, if you want to help people and start a YouTube channel, you have to clear this out so that you can be confident and, speak your truth. So that was just, it's 1:11 right now where I'm at.
And I'll mention it figures it's serious, coming in on a serious topic, to help you let go about all that.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I'll mention one more thing. I think this is like 2010 at my end in Austin. I was going for a run. I've been a runner for 42 years since I was like 14. And I know it was around the Patriots Dolphins game because they played twice within 4 weeks around, again, 2010, 2011. I go out my door. We have a very wide California sort of street set up in Texas, this community. And I'm running and I've always got music in, and my eyes go up to the sky, and it went from like a dark dot to the bright white light, like a supernova, to back to a black dot. Now, this was probably all the way out over Kerrville, 75 miles away, but to me, it looked like it was just 10 miles away. So I did what every red-blooded American does. I finally freaked out and stopped in my tracks. I'm like, what am I saying? Lined it up with the treetop to see if it was moving at all. It's not. It's not an airplane. And then I punted in the most beautiful way I've ever done in my life. There's a tech couple walking their dachshunds, and they're super smart. And I'm like, excuse me, could you lend a set of eyeballs here? And they debated for about 5 to 10 minutes and they finally decided, yes, that's a UFO. So I
Wow.
kept going running later. But as I kept going running, I'm like, I did a U-turn, went home, shut all the windows, called my aunt. You don't know how to react. So what's your advice for folks for this whole topic if they're kind of new to it? Maybe they're okay with angels, which I just had an angel mention that they're from Andromeda for one angel. I mean, I think angels come in all shapes, sizes, colors. They live within you and around you. How
Yeah.
can people kind of just calm down, not think Independence Day or anything like that? How can they just calm down and relax and understand this is truly about love and expansion?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's been a lot of fear programming, unfortunately. But so these UFOs, if you see something, it is very specific and intentional for you to see. They're very intentional about who sees them. And a lot of the times, what I found in talking with people, a lot of people, they start seeing these things and they don't know what's going on. A lot of the times, it's their star family showing up to, say hello and you may not get any I didn't get any communication with them at first. It took a little bit of practice and in exploring. It may come with a feeling though. You may have some sort of an experience with it, but a lot of the time they may just show up once just to kind of like feel it out and kind of like open your mind a little bit. They won't give you more than what you can handle, so don't be afraid. Uh, they are very well aware that it can be very shocking and it takes us time to process. That's why after my first encounter, I didn't have another one for 2 months
Mm.
because they gave me time to kind of integrate and process that. And then it was like, the doors blew wide open and I was being bombarded. But yeah. Yeah. Does that hopefully that helps? Is that helpful?
Totally. And last area here, how about the UAP UFO disclosure crowd? People are doing a phenomenal job of tracking stuff down, FOIA requests. We've had some beautiful guests on, or will have by the time this show airs, like Vinnie Adams in the UK, Grant Levac down in Australia last year or in 2023. It was Alan Steinfeld, and then a few others. In another one from DC, the Paradigm Institute or whatever the group's called. I forgot the name. But
Mhm.
he's super cool. Get a chance to interview him in a few days. It might be Steve Bassett. My question there, though, is everyone's doing great, but it's a little bit like blow by blow, so focused on the details who's doing what, organizations, governments, corporations. It's kind of like you're asking people to change where their consciousness level is and how they're already rolling. You're not going to hear the words unconditional love, kindness, gentleness. You might hear mankind's expansion a little bit. Can you talk
Mhm.
to us about that's not necessarily the whole show? In fact, it
Mhm.
might be only college football, not the NFL, or I hate to do a football analogy, but it, I'm not saying anyone's missing the point, but I'm
Mhm.
saying it's such a focus on details and documents and what a government
Mhm.
did or didn't do and where are the bodies and where's the technology.
Mhm.
We're not hearing anything about unconditional love, shininess, a little more fun, a little more expansion, a little more just stop worrying so much. Can you
Right.
handle that in a you know how to say this better than I do, but there's something that's not being discussed at those in most of those circles.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of different roles being played at this time. So this topic and the awakening in general is being kind of tackled from a many different angles. Um, it's very multifaceted, and I think for some people, in order for them to begin to open their minds and believe, they need those like government documents, or they need. But I would advise you, don't trust everything that the government says, and don't wait for the government to tell you something. And a lot of time there are hidden agendas at play too, so you really have to have discernment, just with anything in general. Um, but some people, they need, the scientific evidence in all of that. So I think it's good that at least it's being talked about and people are starting to explore that. Uh, but definitely it is more the spiritual component. I believe that will come, the love and compassion component of it. I believe that will come, at least in the mainstream. It may take a little bit of time. So I think this is just a stepping stone for us, but it is definitely multifaceted and much more than just, the scientific part of it. Definitely.
Okay, I'm going to give you an Einstein quote. The only source of knowledge is experience. So can you remind us one more time that this is just basic listening, even if it's a little bit telepathic or basic feeling, basic seeing. Everyone's got the capability, but don't feel pushed into it either. You gotta want to do any of this.
Right. Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, you really don't know until you experience. It's hard to That's why I just sometimes I pray, because some people who their minds may be closed to this, they're not gonna until they experience something. So I just pray that they have some sort of an experience, whether with, a spiritual experience or, UFOs or whatever. I forgot your question because I just kind of
Oh
went
no,
off on a
that's good.
tangent.
It was the Einstein quote. I do this all the time. You're in the flow. Okay, I'm going to give you three quick questions, then we'll let you wrap it up with a broader reminder in any direction, and you might get a little influenced on that from above or from within, whichever way people want to mention it. And for folks, I do trans-dimensional channeling for a multi-dimensional fun experience is one of the 800 ways to say what I do. I just help people meet angels. I'm an angel talent agent.
Mhm.
Here's the first question for you. How do you define success?
Hmm. For me, I think one of the biggest things Source told me that you should be doing is following your bliss.
Mm.
Follow your bliss, whatever lights you up, whatever gets you excited. So, whatever that may look like for you. Also, for me personally, self actualization has always been like I've I've always just reaching my highest potential, whatever that looks like. I just want to be the best version of me possible. Um, Self actualization, the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, reaching your potential. So that's one of my biggest goals and driving forces. But I think it can be different depending on who you are, but really just what lights you up, what fills you up, what fills your cup, I think is success.
Joseph Campbell always talked about follow your bliss. And then Jason Sands recently, in the longer 6 hour interview, talked about the second part, the self actualization. I just want to be the best dad I can. I just want to be the
Yeah.
best person I can to my neighbors. I mean, in a way, you could hear his consciousness transformation, his paying attention more.
Mhm.
Okay, next question. What's your happy place? If you want to pick within 20 meters or 20 feet, that's fine. And if you want to pick overseas and it's one day what your happy place will be, or it could be metaphorical and you know it's here, talk to us about your multiple happy places.
Yeah. So for quite a while there, it was under the stars, stargazing under the Milky Way. You can drive an hour out of a city to a more rural area and get the most
Mm.
magnificent view of the night sky, and it's absolutely breathtaking. So under a beautiful Milky Way is one of my happy places. Um, Also with my star family and meditation is one of my happy places. Also, I'd say those are kind of like the two big ones. Nature also, I love nature.
Now, you're not going to get asked this on any other show, and I still have one last quick question to do, which I'll remember in a second. No one should ask you this in the next 5 years unless they saw this interview, but what's your favorite music to you that reminds you of the cosmos, more consciousness? I'm going to throw myself under the bus and mention Grimes. I love her music. I think it's the highest vibe, most complex. Radiohead's the closest thing I can think of that runs like 7 different things in the same moment
Mhm.
happening. But Grimes has some songs that are just off the charts, and to me, big. I don't know how else to say it. Do you have a particular type of music that when you put it on, you're kind of feeling connected or something like that?
Yeah, there's this band called Hammock, Hammock. They have very, very beautiful music. It's very good. A lot of it is instrumental. They do use some voice in some of it. It's very expansive and just touching. Like it gets you emotional. And it's great to listen to while stargazing. Another band, they're a little bit more, they can be a little bit quicker, a little bit faster paced, is a man of no ego. And they have a lot of in some of their music, they put in audio recordings of like Alan Watts and other great teachers. So it's like, a mixture of this cool instrumental and they tune everything to 432 hertz. So it's yeah, it's great music. So Man of No Ego and Hammock, I really like.
Okay, before you close us out with a big visionary reminder for us all, plus I'll make sure that we put the book in there as well into the fine print. You've just had an amazing book released end of April, so I'm looking forward to suggesting that people check that out. Um, what are 3 words that just are randomly popping into your head right now? No one's been asked that on this show before. 3 words. You can get help from above,
Mhm.
within. What's popping in?
Okay. So love and bliss. So following the bliss, I think that's a great reminder. And then transcendental was the other word that was popping
Okay.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what's the final direction you want to take us? Just a reminder about this, about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we are all incredibly supported. I think it's amazing the work that you're doing too, helping people to connect with the angels. So thank you, because anybody can connect with these spiritual beings, with ascended masters, with angels, with archangels, with their star families, and they want to help us. And you mentioned something earlier that's really very important that I learned early in my journey is also asking for help.
Hmm.
You know, that there's a non-interference rule. So anything asking for help is incredibly important. Something else that popped up a second ago that they want me to share with everyone is the solar plexus coming into your power. That's kind of like a message for the audience. Focusing on stepping into your power, removing anything that is holding you back, stepping into who you truly are, your confidence, which you can do by working with the solar plexus chakra, which is near the center of your rib cage. We need to be stepping into our truth, into our power. So that's something that they wanted me to mention.
And I felt like I was on your show for a second. That was awesome. Okay, I'm gonna put up last few angel photos. So a guardian angel, but she's from really far out. Min. Joy is joy, the emotion joy. You know, it was once said by the Big Mary, love is a constant, love is everywhere, open your eyes to see love. I love that reminder. And then there's 4 archangels, the rainbow pie slices. That's Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel. It'll just say Gabriel, but so you have like 6 angels here. Can you get a final reminder from them all that can't be just what we talked about? It's got to be something new.
Mm-hmm.
And what are you getting from them as a vibe or words?
Dreams just came up from Joy. Something about dreams. Uh,
Like dream big and bring it forward?
that can be it too, but also I think the dream realm. So we're doing a lot of really important work, spiritual work in the astral realm as we are sleeping. So we may be learning lessons. I've woken up where as I was waking up, I was working with Archangel Michael and helping to clear and heal and transmute all of the energies and helping lost souls move on. So I was like, holy smokes, I didn't know that that's what I was doing in my sleep. So yeah, so the dream realm. You can also ask to what's coming through right now. You can also ask to have an experience in your dreams or get a message through your dreams. It's very powerful to be able to it's an easier way for the higher realms to convey a message. So you can ask for, a message or to meet your star family or to meet one of your guides and through your dreams.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. You've been incredible. We've had Lily Nova, space photographer, UFO contactee. I'm going to say healer. You help others have the confidence to just slow it way down, pump the brakes, to trust that what they've got here is more consciousness, more possibility, more love, more
Mhm.
calm. And I think whether we're talking external photographs or just direct experiences, you're really doing some wonderful work for both yourself and others.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. And I like to I help teach people how to connect with their star families and their guides also. It's incredibly important work. So thank you again for also what you're doing.
Absolutely. Well, this has been Angels Positivity and Love with Lily Nova in Missouri. Thank you so much for being on. Hopefully, we'll have you again on in 2025. It'd be wonderful to have you back.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you so much for having me.